welcome to Day One Patch Media. This is a hot fix. This is where we kind of take information that's hot off the press.
Pretty hot off the press, yeah.
Thank you, man. What we're covering today is going to be the Apple Keynote. This keynote was mainly for the iPads, but they also announced a few minor surprises depending on how well you keep track of the rumors. But overall, Matt, what did you think of their keynote yesterday?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't like the typical Apple thing where you go back, though. Like, they were talking about iOS 8 and 8.1, and then they're talking about their iPhone sales. I just kind of like them to be like, they had that keynote, move forward. But other than that, I mean, it went smoothly, so.
Mm-hmm. It is for the press, though, and they want to get their big numbers out there and tell people how they're doing. It's also for the investors, so kind of cater to that. But yeah, you started off with 8.1, iOS 8.1, which will be released on Monday. Not too much changes there, just the activation of Apple Pay and a few bug fixes.
Yeah, so just a typical update, more or less.
Mm-hmm. Yosemite had a decent presence there, which is now available on all newer Macs. It doesn't support all of them going all the way back, but yeah, how do you feel about Yosemite after just seeing it for a bit?
So continuity, which is something they kind of seem to really focus on with Yosemite, right?
Yeah.
Continuity is cool. I feel, though, like most new features, I feel like it's not going to be as smooth as they showed it in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they, like, I don't know this, but I'm sure that they set it up perfectly for the conference sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like with the watch and the thing.
But yeah, that part was crazy.
That was really cool, though.
When they have all these different things going, they go into the Apple TV, and then they changed their keynote presentation with an Apple Watch. That was a bit ridiculous, but yeah.
It's really cool. Like, it's really cool to, like, you know, go from a slideshow on your phone to then be working on it on your Mac, and then you can go back to your iPad, like whatever. I mean, that's pretty cool. But I don't know. I hope it works as good as it does, and if it does, then that's a really cool feature, actually.
So yeah, you can actually get Yosemite right now on the Mac App Store, and kind of the features of it, like we said, the continuity and handoff features, more powerful Safari. And it has more of an iOS 7, iOS 8 look to it with the colors and the more of the flat icons and such. So they're kind of just making everything all concise over all the platforms.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest announcement was the iPad Air 2. Now, just to give you a little bit on what's new about it, is it's 6.1 millimeters thin. That's thinner than the previous iPad, and according to Apple, the thinnest tablet in the world.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Thinner than a pencil. They showed that.
Thinner than a pencil, yeah. 18% thinner and 0.96 pounds. Some other features include an anti-glare display, which is new for Apple. They got a lot of the whole Kindle thing about reading your books outside. Apple claims again that this is one of the most anti-reflective displays.
Because there's no air, right, or very minimal. Like
they took out the air gaps in the display and like smushed them all into one.
So it's really close. They're really close together. So,
yeah. They also had 2.5 times faster graphics. 40% faster CPU, and of course they added the Touch ID, which was big with the iPhone 5S.
Yeah, just touching the button and then you're unlocked.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about the iPad Air? You have an iPad Mini yourself.
Yeah, the non-Retina one.
The non-Retina one, yeah.
I think it's a good upgrade. I find that, so the Touch ID is great, obviously. The thinness bothers me. I feel like they shouldn't focus on thinness. I feel like they should, like, I realize they again, deliver a 10-hour battery, but I feel like they should use that extra component space once they shrunk the components to maybe put a bigger battery in there or something like that. So that's cool. But another problem I have is actually with how they think people are using the tablet. Now, this might just be my personal case, but they're showing off metal and stuff like that, which is better for games. Makes games run better. Yeah. And they're showing off like console like level graphics, as they keep saying. But the thing is like, sure, it runs great and everything, but how many people are really doing that? I understand kids play games a lot and whatnot, and we also have Aston Martin and all that great stuff for showing off games. But are people really playing it as a AAA console almost? Like, you know what I mean? They kind of feel like they're trying to move into that space almost, sort of thing, right? I don't know about that.
Well, I think it might be hard to judge because we're more classical gamers in a sense.
Yeah, kind of like the core.
We came out of the console era, right? We were kind of bred in that era. But I think a lot of kids do use their tablets as gaming devices. They have Minecraft on there.
That's true. That's true.
But you're right. I mean, it's all advancement, really. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
iPad Mini 3. That's an advancement on your iPad that you have. They didn't cover that too much. It was kind of like pushed off in the back. They're like, here's the features of this. Here's the price. Wasn't too much. They added the Touch ID. I think it has the same processor.
They basically just a spec upgrade and a Touch ID.
Yeah.
For that guy. So.
Oh, also new cameras on both the iPads as well.
They went into depth, quite in depth on that too,
Mhm.
because they were saying that that's like the best viewfinder you can have for a picture, which is a little weird.
But we all know it's ridiculous when people have their iPads
holding their iPads.
and showing them off like that. Okay, the final thing they announced was actually probably the most I was impressed by, was the iMac Retina 5K display. So that's the actual iMacs, like you know, the thin computers with the little kickstand. Now it's a 5K resolution display, which is 5,120 by 2,880 pixels.
Correct.
And that's
Yeah.
14.7 million pixels total.
That's pretty impressive, especially since like for us PC users, it's the computer with the screen put in, like it's the one package. That's pretty impressive because it was really thin, right?
Mhm.
I'd almost expect like a 5K display to actually have that thickness, but that's actually the computer too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I can't even fathom how they get those pixels so close and
It is
still
ridiculous.
provide good image quality, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, higher specs on that one. And that it's actually pretty affordable, I think, just for a display of 2,500 in the US.
For a 5K display, that's not bad. I'll admit that.
If you go onto like websites though and look up a 4K display,
Right.
they're like $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah. So like it's pretty affordable. Actually, Apple. That's good. That's a good point. Apple's been kind of targeting price.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw the Apple like my iPad Mini. It's now $249, which is the lowest price. Then
Yeah.
they also were like $100 cheaper on some of the price points for some of the iPads. I
They
believe
did
it
like
was.
the 6. You can get the 16 gigabyte model, but then there's also the 64, which now takes place of the 32.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you can get 64 for $100 less to what you used to be able to get it for.
Yeah,
And then the last thing was the Mac Mini, which was actually I didn't expect that to be upgraded.
it's pretty cool though. Like
Mhm.
it's all right. They claim it's for people who are getting their first Mac, which makes sense because of the price point
Mhm.
and it's small and whatnot. But I mean, I honestly think that they should start maybe marketing that toward people who just don't have space, or that you just need like a computer in some place.
Yeah.
Because there's no fan in there, right?
Yeah, there is.
There is a little fan in there.
I think
okay.
it's just like a smushed laptop.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
You know?
in any case, then it's small enough and obviously going to be quiet enough to like just sort of sit anywhere. So like, I mean, if
Yeah.
all you're doing is browsing rather than getting like a Chromebook or
Mhm.
something to that effect, and you actually want big displays,
Yeah.
you could have this little guy basically powering that, and you don't need to worry about a big tower or
Mhm.
whatever. So
Yep. So that was the Apple Keynote for the iPad and the new iMac with 5K Retina display. You can actually watch the video on Apple's website if you want to see the whole conference. Most of these products are coming out they're available either now or sometime soon, and the iPads you can pre-order now. So yeah, this has been Hotfix with Day One Patch. I'm Ryan Johnson. That's Matt Lawrence. You can catch us on the podcast, Day One Patch podcast on iTunes. So we'll see you guys next time.